Hi everyone, this is Leanne at the National Weather Service in Missoula. I'll be bringing you your planning briefing covering the next several days worth of weather and impacts. So let's get started. Here's our threat matrix, or our weather risk outlook, if you will. And you can see that most places are going to have a low threat for thunderstorms over the next several days. And the more moderate threat will be in southwest zones, southwest Montana, for thunderstorms on Friday afternoon and evening. But given the amount of moisture in the air and the fact that we're under unstable southwesterly flow, we can expect the development of thunderstorms each day in the afternoon and evening hours, depending on where you are. So here's the graphical representation of the probability of thunder forecast in percents, and you can see just for our fire weather zones here, or our fire weather areas of interest, that down in southwest Montana there is that more moderate threat for afternoon and evening thunderstorms. And again, there's a sprinkling of threats throughout the rest of the week into next Thursday. I'll get into that in more detail as we go along, but definitely a greater probability for thunder in and around the areas here that are in the bright orange, light to medium orange, if you will. Our maximum temperature forecast for the given area is as follows. We can expect pretty seasonable temperatures overall for highs through next week. Some areas warmer than others in the mid to upper 90s, but overall pretty seasonable to slightly above seasonable. Here's a fire weather forecast, kind of a mix of maximum wind gusts paired with minimum relative humidities. And please feel free to pause the presentation so you can kind of digest this a little more in detail. But for the sake of time, I will continue to go through these slides, but you can see where the breezes are and what our minimum relative humidity is expected to be at those times. For just a look at the min RH forecast through next week, you can see it's pretty dry. A lot of places in the low 20s, even mid to upper teens, and especially as we get into next week. And the overnight RH forecast, the maximum RH forecast, some places are pretty mild as well, especially in the Grangeville area, and that goes through next week as well. So what I have shown here, this is for next Wednesday, June 18th, and this is a collection of ensemble models. This is the outlook for Wednesday of next week, but this shows the three different models in the grand ensemble in the bottom right. And the reason why I wanted to show this was to kind of take a look at where that low pressure is going to move, and it's off the coast of British Columbia by Wednesday of next week. And we were hoping that this low would have more impact over the Northern Rockies and bring some much needed precipitation into the area. But at this point, middle of next week, we're looking at pretty progressive flow, if not slightly southwesterly flow continuing. So no real relief from that low pressure system. And unfortunately, as we move forward to next Saturday, June 21st, the same ensemble outlook shows that low pressure kind of becoming more broad and getting absorbed in the flow and turning into more of a shortwave trough as opposed to a real deep low pressure system with a lot of precipitation associated with it. So what we do know is when we see something like this, moisture is not going to be in the forecast, at least not in a way that would help our situation out here in the Northern Rockies with how dry it's been. So if we remain under this general southwesterly flow with a shortwave trough, we can expect breezy conditions, continued afternoon and evening thunderstorms, and general southwesterly flow that keeps a lot of places warm and dry. Not ideal, I know. So this kind of represented what I just told you in this 8 to 14 day temperature outlook. We're going to be right on the edge of that low pressure system. Whether or not it stays together as a deep closed low, or if it breaks into a short wave and it gets absorbed into the flow, we'll be right on the edge here in the Northern Rockies of that potential for below normal temperatures and near normal to slightly above normal. And then if you look at the precipitation, for the most part, we're going to remain below or near normal for a precip, but right on the edge there in the panhandle of Idaho into northwest Montana, we may see some from that low pressure if it does creep off the coast and onto the Washington state area and maybe into our area. It doesn't look good, but fingers crossed. That's it for today. Our next briefing will be June 15th, and if you have any questions, please reach out to us in the meantime. Thank you.